30 plus drawings, 9 months, and somehow this sketchbook still isn't finished. This very first page was one of the last pages that I did. This landscape has hundreds of tiny marks and dots, yet somehow it doesn't feel chaotic or overworked. Now, this drawing was done on an inexpensive watercolor paper that I painted with gold paint. The oil pastels weren't really popping on this surface, so I brought in my very soft Montmartre pastels. It was a moment when just a few added details really changed the artwork. This piece started out as a wax and paint experiment that went completely wrong. But a few tweaks with the design, and it slowly transformed into this beautiful, magical tree. White flowers on a white background. That's always a challenge. And honestly, I'm still not completely sure how I feel about this page. Parts of it I love, like the glass vase, but the petals I'd probably work on a bit more. I did a full video of this drawing, and it was definitely one of my experimental moments. By using just a touch of acrylic paint, I got the feeling of leaves in dappled sunlight. I really loved the effect. So I decided to do the same technique with these two drawings. I did them on separate pieces of paper again so I could experiment as much as I like without fear of ruining the sketchbook. They're a little more ornamental than the first two drawings, but I quite like them. This sketchbook has a few scattered pages of brown craft paper. You might recognize these blossoms from another video which I did in soft pastel. I decided to combine a portrait with the blossoms. I'll probably turn this into a complete finished drawing later on. This drawing was inspired by a bouquet of tropical plants. First I thought I was overworking it. I stuck with it, and what I learned is that persistence is key. I really like the results. I'm glad I didn't give up too early. You might recognize this daisy from an earlier video. This was pure fun. Loose, feathered petals, paint splashes. Technically, they say you shouldn't put paint over oil pastels, but it works for me. I absolutely love the energy of this page. This page was featured in my oil pastel kit video. Flowers tend to fade so quickly. Drawing them makes them last just that little bit longer. This drawing also comes from one of my videos about creating brighter, cleaner oil pastel drawings. It marked the beginning of a reoccurring obsession throughout this sketchbook. Yes, poppies. As the pages went on, they gradually evolved into more expressive, colourful interpretations. I love the simplicity of this calla lily, but once again it was a challenge for me, creating a white flower on a white background. I really like this watering can. At first all those flowers felt overwhelming. Too many petals, too much details. So I started breaking everything down into simple values. I used a blue grey coloured pencil to do my shading, and it gave me some really nice subtle tones. This piece was inspired by a vase of yellow calla lilies. I remember someone walking past in very similar colours, and suddenly everything connected. I tried capturing both the flowers and the figures together. And that inspired another idea altogether. What about a series of playing cards? That's something this sketchbook keeps doing. One drawing leads to another idea and another, which leads to many more experiments. Now I've experimented with this bunch of blossoms quite a bit. I did 2 different versions, both in soft pastels. Different material, different feel. Now this piece might be one of the loosest drawings in the entire sketchbook, and I love it for that reason. I'm usually overthinking everything, adjusting, correcting, but this one was loose from the beginning. I used a bit of linseed oil with the pastels just to soften them slightly. Okay, so this is the result when you really put your sketchbook through its paces. At this point, my sketchbook started to become even more experimental. This piece was done using Odourless mineral spirits to soften the oil pastel. I realized that not every page needs to be perfectly finished. They can simply be experiments. Now this next page honestly feels playful. I still had some mineral spirits left over, so I decided to start playing with the colours. And somehow it ended up looking like a bunch of candy floss flowers. This was a challenging one. The grass looks simple enough, but if you look closely, you can see that there's lots of colours in the grass. And that's what helped to pull everything together. Okay, guess what's next? Yes, more poppies. This was another of the final drawings that I added to my sketchbook. This sketchbook was done in a random order. Now you'll see later on that I came from not being very confident with my Pentel pastels to this. What I learned is that you can get some really beautiful intense colours even with inexpensive pastels. Originally I'd planned a different drawing for this page. I had sketched an image on the page in order to commit, but that didn't happen. But that's okay, it created space for this beautiful drawing. Next, another poppy drawing. Basically, I created the background first using acrylic paint, then added a few textured dots with my oil pastels, and then I added my poppies on top. I'm still trying to figure out whether to put something on the left, but we'll see. Here's another drawing that was featured in a full-length video. There were a few things that I really enjoyed experimenting with when doing this piece, adding the text and doing the sgraffito for that rustic kind of look. To top it all off, I varnished the page. So we're continuing on with the tulip theme. This drawing was inspired by a rectangular vase sitting on a mantelpiece. I quite like it because it's bold and bright. Okay, back to the poppies. Compositionally, this one is very similar to the one I did on brown paper. But this time I had the confidence to draw directly in my sketchbook. That's what happens when you really get to know your materials. I'm really loving the richness of the colours. Now some days I absolutely love this piece. Other days I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I did have a lot of fun splashing the paint though. Honestly, I think uncertainty is healthy sometimes, because if every drawing feels comfortable, you're probably not experimenting enough and you're probably not growing. Okay, I think we're at number 27 or so. Now, this little drawing came together incredibly quickly. It wasn't forced, it wasn't overworked. I really enjoyed the process. There's a full video breaking down how I did each one of these flowers. I've always wanted to combine portraits with botanicals, so I took the daisy from my splatter drawing and combined it with this profile portrait. I think I'll push the idea even further in some larger portraits. Here's another version of the tulips in the rectangular shaped vase. Just look how much the colours explode against the dark background. Don't be afraid of toned paper. Pastels were practically made for it. This page makes me feel happy every time I see it. The yellows, the blues, the flowers bursting outwards. It feels like standing in a garden during the peak of summer. Just joyful. I did a video on this one, so if you want to know the exact steps I took to make it, go ahead and watch the video. This drawing gives me a Van Gogh kind of feeling, but through lots of dots as opposed to swirling lines. Although it looks complex and quite detailed, this drawing didn't take long at all, and I love the results. Another experiment here with portraits and flowers combined. Originally, I'd intended for this piece to be a little more polished, especially the hair, but as I kept layering it, the strands became a little more wild and a little bit more textured. Sometimes the drawing dictates to you what it wants to become. Now going back in time to one of my first portrait drawings in this sketchbook. My first set of Pastels didn't include a purple, so I had to improvise by grabbing a purple crayon. And you know what? Limitations really do force creativity. Sometimes not having the perfect materials pushes you towards more interesting solutions, like this really nice hatching technique. This portrait was done using the same technique as the last one, using a limited palette mainly of oranges and yellows, and once again combining my oil pastels with wax crayons. I really loved the way it turned out. Now on to the third portrait in this series. With this one I focused on using mainly blues. And whenever I use blues and greens in a portrait, I get mermaid or avatar vibes. Once again, I improvised by using my purple crayon with my blue oil pastels. Quite fittingly, we'll end on a drawing that marks the end of the day. This drawing was more about letting the marks become a part of the image. Night is falling and everything loses its colour. I'm loving all the lines and the looseness of it. So that was my last drawing. For now, because you know what, I'm still only halfway through the sketchbook. Here are some thoughts. A few of these studies introduced new techniques that I'll be using in the future. That's the beauty of a sketchbook. It's not a museum, it's a laboratory. A place where ideas can grow, change and evolve without pressure. I'd love to know which one of these drawings stood out the most for you. I hope it inspires you to do some experimenting of your own. Wishing you so much love, happy creating. Peace. Please remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss the second half of this sketchbook tour.